we are discussing on the value added analysis, right? Analysis of value added statement, and we started. We are discussing the format, and you studied the value added statement in BBS also, so it's no more difficult. So you must know the concept of value added. Some amount of value added over the cost of material and service is known as value added. So why that value is added, that is important. That can be understood from the format. And a value added statement is prepared by two methods, and that I told you earlier, under subtractive method and under additive method. Therefore, which information do you have? If you have the information relating to value added for the preparation of value added statement under additive method, we should prepare this. If we are given the information relating to materials, services, cost, and what they are, we'll discuss in the format. Material, service cost, and sales revenue. In such condition, you should prepare the value added statement under subtractive method. Under subtractive method, net value added is calculated by deducting, so it is called subtractive method. Under additive method, value added amount of value added over the cost of materials calculated by adding the different distribution to different headings are different stakeholders. That is value added statement under additive method. Therefore, in the examination, if you are given value, suppose you purchase the goods for 5,000 rupees, that is cost of materials or cost of goods. And if you have paid any expenses for that, for conversion, for modification, these are called cost of services. And cost of material 5,000, and you paid for that service cost from spent from office, like office rent, traveling expenses for spent for sales, advertisement for publicity, and other office expenses, printing, stationery, insurance, repair, etc. So when you have similarly, you paid for packing expenses for modification and redesigning, and these are the cost of material and services. And suppose, let's say, all about this is 6,000. 5,000 is cost of material, and 1,000 you spend for different other expenses of services, and total 6,000 rupees is the value. But the businessman does not sales at the 6,000 rupees, that is cost of material and service. And when businessman adds suppose additional 2,000 rupees, and it sells for 8,000 rupees, sales revenue is 8,000 rupees. And out of 8,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees or excess amount, additional amount paid over the 6,000 rupees, that is 2,000 rupees, because sales price is 8,000 rupees, and the cost of material and other service cost is 6,000 rupees in total, and 2,000 is additional added by the company. That value added amount is added, 2,000 rupees is added amount over the cost of material and service, is called value added. Therefore, value added is can be calculated as 6,000 is 8,000 is the sales revenue. 8,000 is the sales revenue, and cost of material and service is 6,000 rupees. 8,000 minus 6,000 is 2,000, that is value added. So this is our simple example, and we'll discuss this in format and exercise. Beside this, uh, beside this value added statement is also can be also prepared under additive method, or net value added can be also calculated by additive method. In our previous example, 2,000 is value added, and why this value 2,000 is added, that can be verified, that can be logically proved. So that 2,000 should be distributed to different. Why 2,000 is added? For the payment, for the distribution to the employees as salary, wage, and remuneration, and payment to government as income tax, different property tax and rent tax, etc. And similarly, some amount or some portion of total value added 2000 is distributed to the provider of capital or capital provider in terms of interest on loan and dividend, and some amount of profit remains for the reinvestment in the future. Therefore, total amount of value added should be verified by additive method. Therefore, we when we are given the information for the preparation of value added statement under additive method and subtractive method, the value added calculated under subtractive method should be equal to the value added calculated under the additive method. So value added statement can be prepared by two ways. So under subtractive method, we deduct from the we deduct the sum of cost of material purchase, cost of material consume or cost of material purchase if no stock, from the sales revenue to find out the value added. So under additive method, we write first sales revenue, and sales revenue means net sales. It means sales, total sales less return. You can show total sales less return, and the net sales is calculated, that is written in the amount column. So net of return, it means net of return or any allowances or rebate, any allowances or rebate given to the customer by the company along with the sales, buying two get one free. So one item free given to the customer is that allowance or rebate. And similarly, any amount of discount given to the customers like trade discount or cash discount, that is deducted and to find out the net sales amount. Therefore, net sales amount is calculated first. Then another important point is why ending inventory is added and why beginning inventory of finished goods. Keep it in mind. Opening stock of finished goods and closing stock of finished goods, and opening stock of work in progress WIP, and closing stock of work in progress. Why beginning is added and why ending is added, why ending inventory is added, why beginning inventory is deducted, that is important. Normally we deduct the closing stock. In every cases we deduct the closing stock to find out the cost of goods sold. Here we are not calculating the cost of goods sold. Here how much is value added? Ending inventory is the inventory of the current year, stock of the current year. Some value is added in the purchase amount of or cost of materials. Therefore, some value is added in the ending inventory of the current year. Therefore, sales is the material of output of the current year. Ending inventories are also the output of the current year. So they both are output, and value is added in the ending inventory or closing stock of finished goods and work in progress and sales revenue both. Therefore, they are added. But beginning inventory or open stock of finished goods or open stock of WIP, they both are the previous year's value. Beginning inventories are the ending inventories of the previous year. Some values were added in the previous year on the beginning inventories. Therefore, the value is not added in the current year on the beginning inventory. Therefore, it is not included in the value added statement of the current year. But company makes the sales of beginning inventory and purchases both. But beginning inventory current year company does not add the value. It some value was added in the previous year when it was purchased for 20,000 rupees, and some value added 10,000, and it was the closing stock of 30,000 closing stock of finished goods or WIP in the previous year, and this becomes open stock in the current year. But current year does not company does not add any values for the beginning inventory in the current year. So it is not value added in the current year. It was the value added of the value of the previous year. So company added the value previous year, and therefore it is to be deducted. त्यही भएर हामीले यसलाई बिगिनिङलाई लेस गरिदिन्छौँ. त्यसै इन्डिङलाई एड गर्ने, बिगिनिङलाई लेस गर्ने. and any amount of income earned by the company during the year, any amount of income earned, dividend received, rent received, royalty received, compensation received, rent received, any other any other income received in the current year, that is also the value received in the current year by the company by rendering the services. Therefore this is added. Therefore add other income and services. Then after adding these incomes, we get the total value of output. Now, total value of output, it means some values added over the cost of materials, and total value is calculated for the output of the current year. And previous year output or previous year stock excluded, and current year stock is the current year output. Therefore sales is also the current year output. When you exclude the sales of or beginning inventories, then the remaining is the current year output. So this is total value of output. In this way, sales, we add the uh, ending inventory of the finished goods and WIP if given WIP, and deduct the beginning inventory of finished goods and uh, WIP. Then after we add some incomes. After that we get the total value of output. Then we deduct the cost of materials and services. We deduct cost of material and services, under which I have shown you by categorizing into two headings as cost of material and services, or you can write cost of material and service without classifying into two groups as cost of material and cost of services. Directly you can write what they are under cost of material and service. And the first one is cost of material consumed or direct material consumed. And you must know how we calculate cost of material consumed, that you studied in the bachelor level and plus 2 level in preparation of cost sheet, how to calculate direct material consumed or cost of material consumed. Cost of material consumed is calculated by adding purchase and open stock minus closing stock. Closing stock is not sales in the current year, so closing stock will be sold in the next year. And open stock plus material purchase minus closing stock, this is cost of material consumed. So in this way, cost of material consumed is calculated, that is cost of material. And any other material expenses incurred, like different parts, accessories, and other consumable stores, some materials used in the purchase, to modify, to convert, or while conversion. These are called consumable stores. For example, in materials, when you have added some other supporting materials, these supporting materials are consumable. So when you are cooking the rice, and rice, cost of rice is a direct material consumed cost, and some other parts means consumable store, means you use their water, that water is consumable store. So the cost of water, and any lubricants used in the manufacturing process inside the factory. And similarly, packing materials, stationary materials, fuel and oils, they are also, and electricity, they are also the cost of materials, supporting material, consumable material cost. And beside this, repair and maintenance is actually the cost of service. Right? The repair and maintenance is the cost of services, like audit fee, which are incurred in the office and selling and distribution and inside the factory, or factory overhead, office overhead, selling overhead, except employees related cost, except tax payment for the government, except capital cost of capital provider, interest and dividend, and reinvestment cost, depreciation and return earning त यसै पनि cost होइन, depreciation हुन्छ भनेपछि, except depreciation. Why depreciation is not included in the cost of service? That will be discussed in additive. So cost of material and services includes material consumed cost and other materials, like while lubricants, supporting materials, packing material, stationary material, fuel, electricity, uh, while etc. They are the cost of materials. And beside these, other expenses incurred for conversion and providing services by factory, office, and sales department. and are also added with the calculation of the value of materials, total cost of materials, including services. Then when you deduct the total cost of material and services from the total value of output, the balance is net value added, that is calculated under subtractive method. So under subtractive method, total cost of material is deducted, material and services deducted from the total value of output. So it is deduction method or subtraction method. And another is additive method. And under additive method, value added is calculated showing the distribution of that value added calculated under the subtractive method. Let's say net value added you calculated under subtractive method is 10,000 rupees, and why you have added this value over the cost of material and services, that will be verified from the value added statement under additive method. So net value added, out of net value added 10,000 rupees, some portion of value is added for the distribution to the employees. Company employees दिनको लागि value add गरेको हुन्छ. Similarly, they may be wage, salary, they may be wage, salary, or any remuneration, provident fund, pension, or any allowances, meeting allowances, or any allowances, or any benefit given. For example, housing, cloth facilities, benefits, housing, lodging facilities given by the company to the employees. They all are the distribution to employees. So out of, in our example, out of 10,000 value added, some amount, some portion of that 10,000 is distributed to the employees, and some portion is distributed to the government for the payment of tax in terms of income tax, property tax, or rent tax, etc. And similarly, some portion of that total value added 10,000 will be distributed to the capital provider in terms of interest, in terms of dividend to the shareholder, in terms of interest to the loan provider, in terms of dividend to the shareholders. And some remaining amount of 10,000 or remaining amount or remaining portion of total value added will be distributed or will be separated for the reinvestment in the business, like in the form of reserve or retain earning. Beside this, some amount of value added is separated for depreciation, or amount of depreciation is also used for the reinvestment of the business. So you studied in the bachelor level different method of depreciation. One of them is depreciation fund method or accumulated depreciation method. Under depreciation fund method, amount of depreciation is actually the non-cash expense, and that amount of depreciation is not paid to other. It is tax exemption amount, tax facilities. So this amount of depreciation is kept for the future to buy the assets or to purchase the asset to replace the assets in the future. Therefore, that amount of depreciation is kept in the organization, separated in the organization for the reinvestment on purchase of assets in the future. Therefore, so total amount of value added is to be verified. Why the value is added? Value is added for the distribution of employees, value added for the distribution to the government, value added to for the distribution to the capital providers, and some amount of reserve remain depreciation, and some amount remain for the depreciation or amount of depreciation and reserve that will be used, that will be distributed in the reinvestment in the future. So in this way, why value added is, or why company adds the value, when company adds the value, not for the distribution of dividend to the shareholder only, or that whole amount of value is not added for only shareholder or owner. Some portion of value added is given to the employees, given to the government, some given to the capital providers, and some amount is kept for the reinvestment in the future. So in this way, the value added calculated under the subtractive and additive methods should be verified. So we are going to calculate, we are going to prepare the value added statement. So from page number 89, 3.4, we are going to practice this question. All of you prepare the format, then we discuss in the question. 3.4, page number 89. 3.4, page number 89. All of you draw the format for 3.4. पहिला यस्तो फर्मेट बनाउनु. Company name in 3.4, पहिला 3.4 अनि त्यसपछि हामी 3.3 मा आउँछौँ है. 3.4 is complete for stock adjustment also. 3.4 Narayan Limited Company or Narayan Company Limited. All of you write down Narayan Company Limited and value added statement under subtractive method, because we are given materials, wage, materials, beginning, ending, and office expenses, selling expenses. We are given separately there. Therefore, we prepare under the subtractive method. Just you draw the format for the year ended December 31st, 2009, and we are given the data of 2009, and you write particular amount rupees, or description amount rupees, amount. So भित्रको त अहिले नलेखिनुहुन्छ, just you draw the format, amount, particular amount, 3-column format. You draw 3-column formats, then we discuss. I'll show the question and we discuss one by one. Finished? Did you draw the format? भयो, बनाउनु भयो? ल अब पहिलो क्वेसन हेर्नु, बुक छ अनि बुकमा हेर्नुहोस्. अब यहाँ मैले हिजो राति फोटो खिचेको तर क्लियर त्यति आएर हिँड्छ. The first one is beginning inventory of raw material, beginning inventory of raw material, ending inventory of raw material, and purchase of raw material are adjusted to find out the cost of material consumed for the addition of value added, because ending inventory of raw material will be recorded as beginning inventory in the next year, and next year it will be converted, and next year value is added, next year value added calculated from the beginning inventory, that is ending inventory of the current year 2009. Therefore, we find out how much of the material consumed, how much is the cost of material used, that is calculated. Therefore, beginning inventory of raw material, ending inventory of raw material, purchase of raw material is used for the calculation of cost of material consumed. And wage, salary, and any other expenses paid to the employees are the employees payment to employees, distribution to employees under the additive method. यो wage भनेको additive method मा जाने भयो, employees लाई payment गर्ने. Another is factory expense. Factory expense means factory related expenses spent incurred inside the factory, like heating, lighting, factory rent, coal, water, etc. These are the cost of services. So included in the subtractive method. Factory expense incurred accrued. This remaining amount of factory expenses to pay. That is also the factory related expenses, that is accrued expense. Only the amount spent to pay, but service has been received from the factory. And sales is the first factor, and sales return are deducted to find out the net sales under the subtractive method. And office expenses, they are the service expenses. Office render the services, so they are the cost of services included in the cost of material and services under the subtractive method. Selling and distribution expense, they are also service expenses, rendering service expense. Next is that is also included in the under the subtractive method. And depreciation is the amount of value added separated for the reinvestment in the future to buy the assets, included under the additive method under or in additive method under the reinvestment, distribution for reinvestment. So additive method में जानियो. Interest on loan is also recorded under the additive method for the distribution to the capital provider. And income tax is also provided to the income tax is also paid for the to the government. So it is included under the additive method to for the distribution to the government. Another is dividend. This is also included in additive method for the distribution to capital provider. And return earning is the amount remained reserve profit, that will return profit that will be used for the reinvestment in the future. So under additive method it is included. And dividend received is the other income included under the subtractive method to calculate the total value of output. And open stock of finished goods, you are not given WIP, work in progress. Open stock of finished goods was the previous year closing stock of finished goods, and previous year the value was added at the time of conversion into finished goods, so it is not the current year value added, so it should be excluded. Closing stock of finished goods is the current year finished goods, and the value is added during the conversion in the current year, and that closing stock is the current year value added with the sales is the amount of goods sold from after adding the value in the current year after deducting the value of opening stock of finished goods of the previous year. Previous year को हटाएपछि त sales बाँकी रहने त current year के value भने closing stock of finished goods is also the current year value added. And last one is total number of labor, and it is not included in the subtractive or additive method. Number of employees हो, amount होइन, and that is given for the calculation of additional analysis into number 3 number त्यसको लागि दिएको, यसलाई अहिले चाहिएन ल. So first of all, you write down sales and sales return under the subtractive method. So first you write down sales less sales return. The amount of sales is 13,62,000. So you write down 13,62,000. 62,000. And less sales return 6,000. So you subtract and write down just below 13,56,000 and add ending inventory of finished goods. Add ending inventory of finished goods and less beginning inventory of finished goods. WIP and finished goods inventories are added and subtracted, but ending inventory is the current year inventory. Sales is also current year in sales, and beginning inventories are the previous year stock. So previous year value added not included in the current year. Therefore, beginning is deducted. So beginning beginning inventory, ending inventory of finished goods is 90,000, and finished goods and open stock of finished goods is 1,20,000. 20,000. You add 90,000 and 1,20,000 and 90,000 and open stock of finished goods is 1,20,000. You add 90,000 and 1,20,000 and open stock of finished goods is 1,20,000. You add 90,000 and 1,20,000 and open stock of finished goods is 1,20,000. You add 90,000 it is 13 lakh. And see 12 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 crore, 12 lakh, 46 lakh 46,000. Okay, then opening stock of finished goods 1,20,000.
सर एड गर्ने हैन
Add गर्दा कति आयो? 14 lakh
1356
14 lakh 46.
हजुर 14,46,000
14 lakh 46. 14 lakh 46,000 less 1 lakh 20,000.
13,26,000
13 lakh 26.
हजुर
13 lakh 26. फेरि मिस्टेक गरिदिनु पर्ने छ क्यालकुलेसनमा, तपाईँहरू बल्ल बोल्नु हुँदैन। अघिदेखि भत्काइरहेको थिएँ, बनाउनु फर्मेट बनाउनु भयो भन्दा पनि छैन, केही पनि नबुझेर। अब त्यो फर्मेट चाहिँ तपाईँहरूले हुन त बुक छ होला, बुक भएपछि त प्रब्लम भएन, नभए म यसलाई पनि फाइल अपलोड गरिदिउँला। तर स्क्रिनसट गरेको भए यसो हेर्न सजिलो हुन्थ्यो बुक नहुनेले अहिलेको फर्मेट। ल त फर्मेट बुक नहुनेले, बुक हुनेले त बुकमै भइहाल्यो होइन। यो भ्यालु एडेड स्टेटमेन्ट अन्डर सब्ट्र्याक्टिभ मेथड बुक नहुनेले, अनि भ्यालु एडेड स्टेटमेन्ट अन्डर द एडिटिभ मेथड। अब कतिखेर कुन युज गर्ने भन्दा when we are given the information of additive only, like distribution to different for 5 marks question है, 5 marks question यो दिएर तपाईले एनालाइसिस सोध्न सक्छ भनेपछि एडिटिभ मेथड युज गर्ने। when you are given the information of subtractive material cost, factory expenses, sales यस्तो दिएको छ, अफिस एक्सपेन्स, सेलिङ एक्सपेन्स दिएको छ भने you should follow the subtractive method। अनि सब्ट्र्याक्टिभ मेथड थोरै हुने भयो त्यसमा पनि। अनि एनालाइसिस when you are given both information for additive and subtractive, you should use both method। दुईटैबाट क्यालकुलेसन गरेर देखाउनु पर्छ। ल अब आउनुहोस्। Now other income, there is only one income, I had already told you, dividend received। Dividend received is only one income, so a single income, so you can write directly, एउटा मात्रै छ त्यही भएर तपाईं डाइरेक्टली लेख्न सक्नुहुन्छ। Dividend received 4,000। La, after adding this dividend received, you calculate 13 total value of output 13,30,000। 13,30,000. This is total value of output। Now we deduct। ल त्यसपछि डिडक्ट गर्नुस्। लेस कस्ट अफ मेटेरियल एन्ड सर्भिसेस। तपाईले पे गरेको रियल अमाउन्ट पे गरेको कति त, अनि सेल्स गरेको त 13,30,000। टोटल भ्यालु अफ द कम्पनी इज 13,30,000 ड्युरिङ द ट्रेडिङ ट्रान्जेक्सन। ट्रेडिङ ट्रान्जेक्सनबाट तपाईलाई 13,30,000 को टोटल भ्यालु आयो। आउट अफ विच हाउ मच इज द कस्ट अफ मेटेरियल्स यु पेड एन्ड हाउ मच यु पेड फर भ्यालु एडेड। भ्यालु एड कति गर्नुभएको तपाईले, किन गरेको, अहिले एडिटिभमा आउँछ। ल फर्स्ट अफ अल यु राइट डाउन direct material consumed or cost of material consumed or material consumed material cost, that is open stock of material purchase minus closing stock। So add open stock of material 3 lakh, add garnus 3 lakh, purchase of materials 5,25,000, 5 lakh, 3 lakh is open stock of materials plus 5,25,000 minus closing stock 2,10,000। 6,15,000। 6,15,000। You write down 6,15,000. माथिबाट मैले अघिको क्वेसन भन्दै गएँ. Now factory expenses given, factory expense accrued given, office expense, selling and distribution expense given. Factory expense is 2,50,000. Or you can write add accrued भनेर तपाईं add गरेर गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ यसरी like this, or you can write separately. हैन, factory expense accrued. Accrued is the liability and expenses under the accrual accounting. So factory expense is 2,50,000, and you can add accrued expense. Accrued expense is 15,000, and the total factory expense is 2,65,000. यसरी तपाईं भित्र एड गरेर सेपरेट राख्न पनि सक्नुहुन्छ. 2,65,000, or you can write separately in the amount column. यसरी टोटल गरेर देखाउन पनि सक्नुहुन्छ, सेपरेटली राख्न पनि सक्नुहुन्छ. And similarly, office expenses is 80,000, and another selling expense is 60,000. 80,000 and 60,000. So you add, and other expenses are not given. Other expenses are not given. So you find out how much is the total value of material and services, or cost of material and services incurred. 6 lakh, 7, 8 lakh, 8 lakh, 9 lakh, 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 60,
10 lakh 20 है
60. 20.
20 हो
Yes,
20
7, 20 नै हो. ल, how much is value added? To calculate how much is value added, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3,10,000. 3,10,000 is value added. Okay, why this 3,10,000 value added by the company? That is proved from the additive method. Now we are going to prepare value added statement under additive method, or applied or distribution of 3,10,000. You can write continue. मैले त्यहाँ सेपरेट फर्मेट बनाएको छु हेर्नुस् त. तर तपाईले लेख्दा कन्टिन्यू, तपाईको जस्ट बिलो द नेट भ्यालु एडेड यु राइट डाउन अप्लाइड फर अर डिस्ट्रिब्युसन अफ भ्यालु एडेड अर डिस्ट्रिब्युसन टु भनेर लेख्न पनि सक्नुहुन्छ. तपाईँ छुट्टै दुईटा फर्मेट बनाउनु पर्दैन. इफ यु आर आस्क्ड भ्यालु एडेड स्टेटमेन्ट अन्डर सबट्र्याक्टिभ अन्डर एडिटिभ भनेर छुट्टै दियो भने तपाईँ छुट्टा बनाउनुहोस्. इफ यु आर आस्क्ड भ्यालु एडेड स्टेटमेन्ट अन्डर सबट्र्याक्टिभ भने अगाडिको मात्रै बनाउनुहोस्. इफ यु आर आस्क्ड भ्यालु एडेड स्टेटमेन्ट अन्डर एडिटिभ मेथड भन्यो भने चाहिँ बल्ल तपाईँले माथि भ्यालु एडेड स्टेटमेन्ट अन्डर एडिटिभ मेथड भनेर लेख्नु पर्यो हैन. तपाईलाई यहाँनिर क्वेसनले के सोधेको छ भन्दा नेट भ्यालु एडेड सोइङ नेट भ्यालु एडेड स्टेटमेन्ट सोइङ नेट भ्यालु एडेड एन्ड इट्स डिस्ट्रिब्युसन भनिरहेको छ. त तपाईलाई एडिटिभ मेथड भनेकै छैन भनेपछि यहाँ माथि लेख्नुहोस् अप्लाइड फर अर डिस्ट्रिब्युसन फर. कन्टिन्यू है, मैले त्यहाँ नेक्स्ट स्लाइडमा बनाएँ भने तपाईँले आफ्नो उसमा चाहिँ कन्टिन्यू गर्नुहोस्. This 3,10,000 will be 3,10,000 will be distributed into different basically. Just below that net value added line, you write down distribution to or applied for. Distribution to or applied for and यसरी continue गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ तपाईं. Right? And you write down, and at that time you have already drawn the particular amount rupees. When you have combined this applied for भनेर त्यसैमा गर्नुभयो भने you just draw the vertical line furthermore. So not necessary to write again particular. हजुर
सर अघि हजुरले के भन्नुभयो मेरोमा त एकदम अड्की काटी आयो अनि त्यसले भन्दिन न.
Okay. If you are asked a value added statement under additive method, you prepare only this additive method, and on the top you write down value added statement under additive method भन्नुस्, and for the year in date this भनेर dot date राखेर गर्नु, and particular amount rupees required. But if you are asked prepare the value added statement under the subtractive method, you prepare the first format like company name, value added statement under subtractive method for the year in date, and you find out the value added by deducting the cost of material and services from the sales. If you are not asked prepare, you are asked only prepare the value added statement. In such condition, you prepare the value added statement under subtractive method and calculate the value added. Then continue just below that line after calculating net value added. In next line अर्को लाइनमा तपाईं के लेख्दिनु, distribution to or applied for. केमा distribution गर्ने? Why company added the value over the cost of materials? That should be proved through the distribution. Why company added and or for what heading company distributes the value added. के को लागि गर्छ भनेको त त्यसैलाई कन्टिन्यू गर्दिनु, पार्टिकुलर अमाउन्ट भन्ने तपाईलाई लेखिरहनु परेन, किन तपाईले दुईटा मेथड भनेर भनेको दुईटा फर्मेट बनाउनु. So continue in the same table, you continue and write down applied for. The value added को just मुनि चाहिँ तपाई के लेख्नु, applied for or distribution for भन्नुस्, and this particular amount, this column, this row is not essential.
Yes.
यो तपाईलाई चाहिएन. Now write down one, distribution to employees or workers. Distribution to employees मात्र भन्दा पनि भयो तपाईले. Distribution to employees or payment to employees. You can write payment to employees or distribution to employees. Any type of payment to employees are included under the distribution to employees. जुनसुकै पनि, like wage, salary, meeting allowance or any allowance, any account allowance or overtime allowance, whatever given, they all are included. But in our question, we are given wage only. So you write down the amount of wage directly in the total and not necessary to use the first amount column because there is single point of wage. This is 1,25,000. 1,25,000, the value of wage. Another is write down 2 number, distribution to capital providers. Distribution to capital providers, and who provides the capital? Shareholder and bank and financial institution. Loan provider, bank and loan provider are the capital provider for the company. So loan provider gets the interest and capital provider gets the, or shareholder gets the dividend. Therefore the some amount of value added is distributed to the capital provider. Distributed to the capital provider. Distributed to the capital provider in terms of interest on loan or interest on debenture and dividend. So you are given dividend only. This is dividend payment. And previously we talked about the dividend receipt. That was the income included in the subtractive method. So interest. You write down interest on loan. Interest on loan is 10,000 rupees. Interest on loan is given 10,000 rupees. And dividend paid given rupees 40,000, 10,000 and 40,000. 10,000, 50,000, total 50,000. 50,000. Next is third point, distribution to government. भनेको तपाईको अहिले 3,10,000 value added भएको छ नि. Out of that value added, where company distributes, सबै नाफा होइन नि त कम्पनीको. Where does company distribute? For what purpose the company added the value? 3,10,000 value किन एड गरेछ भन्दा इम्प्लोइज लाई दिनको लागि, की फ्याक्टरलाई सेपरेट गर्नको लागि हो, अरु केही होइन. Distribution to capital provider, Distribution to government as income tax. Income tax is 35,000. Income tax is 35,000. Only one. There is no rent tax, property tax, and property tax. Therefore, directly it is written in the amount column 35,000 or second amount column. And lastly, distribution to reinvestment in the business. Amount of depreciation is separated and kept for reinvestment in the future. So depreciation amount is depreciation amount is 50,000. Retained earning amount is 50,000. Both are 50,000. So you write down in detail 50,000 first amount column or detail amount column 50,000, and you write down in the second line, second amount column, it is 1 lakh. So you take the sum, the total value added must be 3,10,000. That should be proved. Why company adds the value over the cost of material and service? Service को cost त conversion गर्न लाग्यो, material cost material pay गर्नलाई purchase गर्नलाई लाग्यो, तर why company adds other amounts over the cost of material? That is value added, and that should be proved from the distribution to employees. कहाँ कहाँ distribute गर्छ भन्ने कुराहरूको prove हुनु पर्यो. That is distribution to employees, distribution to capital provide, distribution to government. हो यसको लागि चाहिँ कम्पनीले भ्यालु एड गर्छ भनेको. ल now required to assist the labor productivity by calculating net value added per employee and wage distribution ratio. So you write down required to लेख्नु and net value added per employees. यो 1 को सक्यो है, required 1 सक्यो. now required 2. Net value added per employee. And first factor, and after this chapter we start the ratio analysis and financial statement analysis, and there we use the ratio and calculate the ratio. At that time I will also explain to you same clues and conditions. First factor, while calculating the ratio, you should write the first factor in numerator. Here you have seen net value added is the first factor, write down in numerator. And you need to calculate the net value added per employee. One employee equal to कति value add गर्यो त्यो थाहा पाउनको लागि. Number of employees is the second factor here, write down in denominator. Now substitute the value 3,10,000 is the net value added, divide by number of labor or workers given, that is 10 workers, and divide rupees 31,000 per employee. Company add the value or added the value for rupees 31,000 per employee. For one employee equals to company added 31,000. And how much of the value added per employee in the past? How much is the value added per employee in other company? Then it is comparable and company performance can be judged. Company is in better performance or not. Next is wage distribution ratio. Second त्यसैमा सोधेको छ wage distribution ratio. Wage distribution ratio means portion of wage. How much is what percentage of the wage out of 3,10,000? यही हेर्नुस् त value added statement मा 3,10,000 is the total value added, and out of which 1,25,000 is the value added for the wages or for the distribution to the employee. What percentage is the value added for the wage? What percentage is the wage out of value added? So 1,25,000 divided by 3,10,000 हैन र पर्सेन्ट निकाल्दै त नि टोटललाई तल डिनोमिनेटर राख्नु पर्यो भनेपछि wage distribution ratio. Wage is in numerator or wage distribution in the numerator, out of total value added. Total value added डिनोमिनेटर राख्दिनुस् अनि भ्यालु सब्स्टिट्युट गर्नुस्. 40.32% is the total wage distribution out of total value added. So company company spend or company use the value or company distributes 40% of total value. It is the major portion. So company spend here major portion of the value added on the employees or towards the employees. यसले तपाईलाई के दियो त अनि अब तपाईँ 3 मा भनेको छ नि एक्सप्लेन द use of net value added statement for the financial performance analysis भनेपछि why value added statement is used. अब यहाँ तपाईलाई इम्पोर्टेन्स अब्जेक्टिभ सोधेको छ भने के रहेछ त भन्दा value added statement is used for the performance measurement of the companies by classifying the amount of value added to the employees, capital providers and government. यसलाई एक्सप्लेन गर्नु के तपाईले भनेपछि what percentage, what portion of the wage distribution out of distribution is made by the company out of total value added. How what percentage of value added is distributed to the capital providers. क्यापिटल प्रोभाइडरलाई कति पर्सेन्ट बाँडेको रहेछ अनि प्रिभियस इयर कति करेन्ट इयर कति इभ्यालुएसन गर्नलाई कम्पनी पर्फर्मेन्स इभ्यालुएसन गर्नको लागि भनेर थ्योरिटिकल कुरा लेखिदिने हो भनेपछि कति पर्सेन्ट इम्प्लोइजलाई डिस्ट्रिब्युट गरेको छ कति पर्सेन्ट क्यापिटल डिस्ट्रिब्युट गरेको छ कति पर्सेन्ट गभर्मेन्टलाई ट्याक्स दिएको छ कति पर्सेन्ट फ्युचर इन्भेस्टमेन्टलाई राखेको छ हो त्यसको एनालाइसिस गर्नलाई भ्यालु एडेड स्टेटमेन्ट आवश्यक पर्छ भनेर एक्सप्लेन गरिदिने हो तपाईले त्यसैले यो नेट भ्यालु एडेड एडिटिभ मेथडकै एक्सप्लेन गर्ने ल अब जाउँ हामी नेक्स्ट क्वेसन प्रब्लम 3.3 प्रब्लम 3.3 अब अलिकति सजिलो क्वेसन यो लामो थियो 3.3 मा जाउँ अब सर्ट क्वेसन नाउ रिक्वायर्ड वान नेट भ्यालु एडेड स्टेटमेन्ट value added statement under subtractive method. I have written why subtractive method. तपाईसँग बुक छ तपाईहरुसँग बुक छ
सर
बुकमा हेर्नुस् त which method we are following subtractive method or additive method दिएर म नहुनेको लागि पढ्दिन्छु tax paid dividend paid additive हो tax paid dividend paid additive method we use additive method for them and similarly next is office overhead return to supplier means purchase return to supplier means purchase return and sales rent income Sunday debtors raw material purchase factory overhead they are used for the subtractive method. Therefore, both methods should be used for the calculation of value added here. So first we calculate the value added under the subtractive method, and that should be proved from the additive method or distribution to different stakeholders. So first you draw the format, value added and company name not given, and similarly you are not given the time period, so you write down value added statement under subtractive method for the period ended or for the year ended or for the month ended, whatever. Therefore, we write here for the period ended. Date not given, so we do not write. Description amount rupees or particular amount. La net sales. If you draw the format fast, net sales revenue. Net sales revenue. That is sales less sales return. Sales less sales return. Like this, you can deduct whatever we learned in the previous question, like less return from customer. You are given return from customer, that is sales return. Like this, you can deduct sales, net sales, no net sales, it is now sales revenue only. Now sales revenue is given in the question 18 lakh rupees. 18 lakh rupees. Then less return from customer. Return from customer is 2 lakh. 2 lakh. and you subtract, it is 16 lakh. Then you add ending inventory, deduct the beginning inventory, which are I think not given, is given to us. Ending inventory is 1,60,000, beginning inventory is 40,000. 1,60,000 17 lakh 60,000, 17 lakh 60,000, and beginning inventory is 40,000. Now you deduct and write down in the amount column, or you directly add the other income. I think other income is given. Yes, other income is given. So this is 17 lakh 20,000. Write down just below 40,000. Add other income. Dividend credit is given. What is dividend credit means? Is it paid or received? Dividend credit means dividend received. This is income. Dividend credit means dividend received. Dividend received means income. It's 30,000. And another, now 17 lakh 20,000 लाई यतापट्टिको कलममा राखिदिनुस्. 17 lakh 20,000, 30,000. Another rent income is also given to you 20,000. Rent income is 20,000, so the total is 50,000. Written in second amount column. And total value of output. Total value of output is or sold. Output sold is 1 lakh 17 lakh 70,000. 17 lakh 70,000. From that, you deduct cost of materials and services, or you can write cost of inputs, cost of input and services, or cost of material and services. Raw material consume less to return to supplier. Return to supplier. Raw material purchase, or raw material purchase is 9 lakh, and we are not given the opening stock of raw material, closing stock of raw material. Therefore, it is raw material purchase is raw material consume. Not given opening and closing both are zero. Therefore, cost of material purchase is the cost of raw material consume. Out of which, if there is return to supplier, that should be deducted 1,60,000. 1,60,000. Okay. How much is it? Eight lakh 40,000. 7 lakh 40.
7,40,000.
7 lakh 40,000. And office overhead, we are given factory overhead, office overhead, selling overhead separately given, and other expenses, packing expenses, lighting, heating, fuel, they are not given. Service cost not given. Office overhead 90,000. Office overhead 90,000. Then after factory overhead,
1,20,000.
1,20,000. And
Selling overhead 1 lakh.
selling overhead 1 lakh. Lakh. Now you add how much is cost of material and services that can be calculated. 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 10 lakh, 50. So subtract, it is 7,20,000 is value added. 7,20,000 is value added. Now just below this you write down applied for, because you are not asked the value added statement under the additive method. So we are given other information of additive method. So where does company distribute this 7,20,000 value added, that we are going to show. Therefore just below the net value added, in next line you write down distribution to or applied for, distribution to or applied for, distribution to or applied for, distribution to or applied for. Not necessary to write again particular amount, just you show applied for. Now, applied for or applied as follows are distribution of value added to, like this, payment to employees or distribution to employees. You can write distribution to employees, distribution to capital provider, distribution to government. So single points given for each and every heading. Payment to employees, manpower cost given. Payment to capital provider, dividend paid is given there. Similarly, payment to government, tax paid given. Payment to reinvestment or distribution to reinvestment in the business, depreciation is given, and but return profit not given, that we are going to discuss. Tax paid is 1,40,000. Tax paid is 1,40,000. And dividend paid is 60,000 given. Dividend paid is 60,000 given. And similarly, return office, dividend, sales, rent income, sundry debtor. Debtor is assets. Assets, it is not value added expense, not expense, and not value added amount. So ignore. Raw materials already finished. Factory overhead already finished. Return from customer finished. Manpower cost is 3,80,000. Manpower cost is 3,80,000. And selling overhead already finished. Capital employed is shareholders equity plus long-term debt or long-term liability. So it is balance sheet related point, not expense, not value added point, excluded. And beginning inventory finish, ending inventory finish. Net profit after tax 1,40,000 given, and depreciation 60,000. So you write down depreciation 60,000. Now you are given net profit after tax, and net profit after tax is not retained earning, because from out of net profit, net profit after tax, company distribute the dividend. Then we already studied in the second same how to calculate the ending inventory of retained earning. Beginning balance of retained earning plus net profit minus closing dividend paid. But we are not given beginning balance of the retained earning. Net profit given. Out of net profit we distributed the dividend here in the question. So after deducting the dividend we calculate the net retained earnings or net retained profit. So net profit after tax is 1,40,000 minus dividend paid to the capital provider 60,000. So you subtract and you write down here There are no more points, so I didn't draw two format here. Or continue गर्दा त तपाईहरुको त त्यसैमा भइहाल्छ, दुईटा कलम छँदैछ तपाईहरुकोमा त it's 80,000. You take the sum that must be same to 7,20,000, which we already calculated. In this way, 7,20,000 will be verified where the company distribute the value added amount. Value added लाई कहाँ distribute गर्छ भन्ने कुराहरुको proof गरेको. Now this is require 1 and 2. How do you see? Require 2 is how do you see the distribution ratio of added value added to different stakeholder? Distribution ratio. How do you see the distribution ratio? How much is the distribution ratio? लेख्नुस् त required to. मैले 2 को चाहिँ गरे हैन, तपाईलाई अघि नै गरिसके भएर लेख्नु त required to. How do you see the distribution ratio of value added to different stakeholder? ल लेख्नु required to distribution ratio भन्नुस्. Distribution ratio. नभए तपाईले एउटा कलम थपेर गर्दिए पनि हुन्छ है हुन्छ. ल required to distribution ratio. माथि लेख्नुस् required to मा distribution distribution ratio. Distribution ratio भन्नुस् and to wage or employees to employees employees को के हुनु पर्यो what percentage is the distribution to employees. This means माथि wages and salary to value added, net value added, net value added. How much is it? You substitute wage means manpower cost 3,80,000 and total value added is 7,20,000. What percentage is the distribution to wage? What percentage is it? About 50%, right? 48 point something कति आउने भयो. 52 आयो. आयो 52 आयो. 52.77%. Now distribution to capital provider. To capital providers. Capital providers. Capital providers like dividend. DIVIDEND dividend. Dividend is 60,000. 60,000 divided by 7,20,000 multiply 100. Kati 7 point. And similarly, other you calculate. Distribution to government, distribution to reinvestment भन्नुस्. तपाईं त्यसै बाँकी दुईटाको निकाल्नुस्. You calculate for remaining two. Similarly, you calculate for others. अरूको पनि त्यसरी निकाल्नुस्. 2 capital provider हैन, government. Government, GOVERNMENT, government. Government को निकाल्नुस्. What percentage to government? %20. कता हराउनु
19.44.
19.44. To investment, reinvestment. Reinvestment. Reinvestment or depreciation plus return earning is 1,40,000. Same, right? 19.44. Require 3. Net value added to total capital employed. Net value added to capital employed. Net value first factor, net value added first factor, write down in numerator, capital employed in denominator. So in the question you are given capital employed किन दिएको भन्ने कुरा त्यहाँ त्यसको लागि दिएको. ल net value added is 7,20,000 divided by capital employed is 6 lakh. Capital employed is 6 lakh. It is 1.2 times 1.2 times or 120%. 120%. Now, is it satisfactory? Comment. Is it satisfactory? Comment. Is it satisfactory? Your value added is satisfactory. Company added the value over the cost of materials by 7,20,000. Is it satisfactory? Yes, it is satisfactory because total capital of the company is 6 lakh rupees and it added the value 7,20,000 during the year or in a year. So it is satisfactory. So in terms of capital employed of the company, the value added is 1.2 times. There is 1.2 times of value added there is 1.2 times of value added than capital employed during the year, so it is satisfactory. So it is satisfactory. Finished? Did you finish? बोलो ना.
भयो सर भयो भयो
Last topic is performance measurement using value added. So I had already told you value added statement is used to determine the value added and to show the amount of distribution of value added into different headings. So what percentage of value added is distributed to the employees, so that employees are, when the distribution ratio towards the employees is high, then it certainly gives the employees more amount of payment. It shows more amount of payment to the employees out of total value added. So it motivates to the employees. And similarly, how much of tax paid, or what percentage of total value added distributed to the government as tax, it certainly also shows the creditability and the company's uh, legality towards the government that can be proved. Besides this, it also shows how much of value added, how much of, or what percentage, what portion of the value added is distributed to the capital provider, especially to the shareholders. And it also motivates to reinvest in the capital, reinvestment of capital in the company. Therefore, net profit calculated under the financial accounting, that is profit based profit, and that company's performance, managerial performance can be evaluated based on the profit factor only. So profit is only one single factor for the profit measurement under the financial accounting. Therefore, that is profit based performance measurement focused to only the stockholders or shareholders of the company, because that profit is the part of the shareholders, and that is distributed to the shareholders only. But value added statement focuses to address to the different stakeholders, like shareholders, capital provider, loan providers, creditors, employees, and government. And similarly for capital reinvestment in the future. So different aspect of the aspect of the companies or different stakeholders can be addressed from the value added statement. Value added statement shows the amount of value added distribution to the different stakeholders. So profit based performance measures only and focuses only and provides the information to the stockholders only, but value added statement provides the information to the different stakeholders and addresses to the different stakeholders. So productivity of the company can be measured by the value added statement or value added amount. So there are two types of two components included under the productivity measurement. One is capital productivity or capital value added, and relation of value added and capital related activities, capital related performance, and measurement of the productivity of the capital with respect to in net value added, that can be measured and evaluated and analyzed. Beside this, mm, value added amount can be compared with respect to the labors, that is called labor productivity. So performance measurement can be made in two aspects, can be made in two aspects. They are labor productivity measurement and capital productivity measurement. Therefore, calculate the different ratios for the capital productivity measurement. In such condition, what are the different ratios that you must know, which does not consist of current, which does not consist of current, because capital is the long term factors and long term factor of production. So uh, so how much of the net value added by the company with respect to capital, long term capital related factors, they are capital productivity and capital productivity can be measured by different ratios. So it is very easy. I had already told you, net value, they are net value added to net worth. And first factor is net value added, that should be in numerator, that should be in numerator. And second is net value added in numerator. And second is net worth. How do we calculate net worth? If you are given net worth, no problem. But how do we calculate net worth if it is given, it is not given? How do we calculate net worth? Total assets minus liability. Total assets minus liability or shareholders equity is the net worth, except long term liability and current liability. The total of the capital and liability side is net worth. And first factor, net value added in numerator, net worth in denominator. And second is net worth is the long term shareholders capital, net value added to capital employed, net value added to capital employed. First factor is net value added, so it should be in numerator. And second factor is capital employed, therefore it should be in denominator. Then we can find out the net value added to capital employed ratio. Capital employed ratio only. Suppose net value added is in numerator, so I have shown you by red color. Net value added is the first factor, so it should be in numerator. Capital employed is the second factor, it should be in denominator. See, what are the different ratios calculated for the for measuring the capital productivity? So net value with respect to long-term capital. Long-term capital includes capital equals to liability, capital plus liability equal to assets. So assets, long-term assets are also measured. So the net value added to fixed asset, total fixed asset. At that time, first factor is net value added, that should be in numerator. Total fixed assets is in denominator. Total fixed assets in denominator because this is the second factor. In this way, we make the formula. है फर्मुला सार्नु घोक्नु भन्दा पनि कसरी बनाउने, हाउ टु मेक द फर्मुला फर मेजरिङ क्यापिटल प्रोडक्टिभिटी. Now next is net value added to total tangible fixed asset. Total tangible fixed asset or tangible assets. Tangible assets includes normally tangible fixed assets. Therefore, we are talking about capital productivity, so we are not talking here current asset. Therefore, it is tangible fixed asset. Tangible fixed assets. Tangible fixed assets. Tangible fixed assets. So first factor is net value added, that should be in numerator, and second factor is tangible fixed assets, so it should be in denominator. And similarly, another net value added to total intangible. Total intangible, net value added, first factor is in numerator. Total intangible means goodwill, trademark, copyright, patent, franchise, customer relationship, etc. They are the second factor. They are intangible assets, and sum of intangible asset is the second factor, so that should be written in the denominator. The denominator sorry, first factor numerator, second factor denominator. Similarly, net value added to plant asset. Plant assets include only plant and equipment, plant, machine, only plant, machine. Plant and machine are only included in the plant assets. In such condition, net value is the first factor. We write in the numerator. And second factor, plant assets. So that should be in the denominator. त्यसरी रेसियो बनाउने तरिका यही नै हो. And in next chapter ratio analysis also we will study, we will prepare the ratio like this. भनेपछि कतिवटा फर्मुला घोक्ने फर्मुला घोक्नु परेन तपाईँलाई. भनेपछि तपाईँले यति जान्नु पर्यो कि capital productivity consists of net worth, long term, capital employed, long term, total fixed asset, long term, total tangible fixed asset, long term. Total fixed asset consists of tangible, intangible both. Total tangible fixed asset consists of only plant, machine, furniture, vehicle, land, building, etc. In total intangible, I have told you. And plant assets include only plant, equipment, machineries. And last one is net value added to total revenue. Total revenue means sales revenue. If it is a manufacturing and trading company, if it is service company, total value is added out of or are included in the service revenue. Therefore, we write in the denominator service revenue. So total revenue is the second factor, denominator. Total, net value added is the first factor, so it is in numerator. In this way, capital productivity ratio can be calculated to measure the
हजुरले के सर्भिस रेभेन्यू भन्नुभएको?
if service revenue. Suppose if your company is service rendering company like consultancy, school, college, hospitals, and they do not have the sales revenue, they have service revenue. So net value added to service revenue. Net value added to service revenue. Net value added is the first factor, write down in numerator, and service revenue in the denominator. In such condition, don't write here sales revenue. त्यतिखेर चाहिँ सेल्स रेभेन्यू लेख्न मिलेन कि. सर्भिस इन्डस्ट्री त हामीले सर्भिस रेभेन्यू नै लेख्नु पर्यो नि त. सेल्स अफ सर्भिस रेभेन्यू, त्यसलाई त हामी सर्भिस रेभेन्यू भन्नु पर्यो. ल, these are the different ratios calculated to measure the capital productivity, how company is utilizing its capital with respect to net value added. Another is labor productivity, and labor productivity can be measured in terms of value added. So it's also easier. Net value added is the first factor, you write down in numerator, divide by per working days or per hour. To calculate per working days or per hour, we should divide by total number of working days or working hour. Total number of working days or working hour. If you are calculating per day, total value added per day को निकाल्नु पर्यो भने चाहिँ per day को निकाल्नु पर्यो भने तपाईले total number of working days ले divide गर्नु. When you need to calculate net value added per hour को निकाल्नु पर्यो भने तपाईले के गर्नु पर्यो, divide by total number of working hours. अब यसलाई म दुईटा बनाइदिन्छु, कन्फ्युजन नहोस्. B number, and this is C number, this is D number, E number, E number, and the last one is F number. Formula मात्र धेरै हुन्छ भनेर मात्रै हो. हेर्नु, when you are calculating net value added per hour को निकाल्नु छ भने तपाईले के गर्नु पर्यो, net value added divided by total number of working hours. Working hour ले divide गर्नु पर्यो. Total number of working hour in a year. And when you are calculating net value added per working days को निकाल्नु पर्यो भने के गर्नु पर्यो, net value added is the first factor in numerator, divided of working days. Total number of working days ले divide गरिदिनुस् in a year. भनेपछि per day को आउने भयो. Similarly, net value added per employee, that we already practiced in 3.4 मा अलरेडी हामीले निकालेको. Net value added in numerator. To calculate the value added per employee निकाल्नु पर्यो भने divide by number of employees गरिदिने. Number of employees divide गरिदिनुस्. Now D number, wage distribution ratio. And I had already told you, and we calculated the different distribution ratio. हामीले working note मा different distribution ratio निकालेका थियौं. Question required number 2, problem number 3.3 required to wage distribution ratio, capital providers distribution ratio, garment distribution to garment ratio, wage distribution ratio, dividend distribution ratio, tax distribution ratio, reinvestment distribution ratio, we calculated. Likewise, here, same thing, wage distribution ratio, what percentage, what portion of wage out of total value added, this is wage distribution ratio. And last one, except E number, last one, net value added, first factor, numerator, divide by salary and wages distribution, salary and wages, then it is net value times salary and wage. Is it exactly opposite of wage distribution ratio of D number? D को सँग हेर्नुहोस् त ठ्याक्कै अपोजिट छ। जस्तो म एकै ठाउँमा राखिदिन्छु हेर्नुहोस् है तपाईँलाई सजिलो होस्। ल इन F number, okay. Wage distribution ratio shows the total wages amount out of net value added, and net value added times to salary and wage. So wage distribution ratio is salary and wage times net value added. यसलाई wage distribution लाई के भन्न पाइँदो रहेछ, salary and wage times net value added, but net value added times salary and wages. त्यो फर्मुला मात्रै बनाएको तपाईको मिनिङ एउटै नै हो। only net value added in numerator in net value added times salary, and in wage distribution ratio net value added is in denominator. Last one, तपाईलाई मैले यति धेरै फर्मुला भने तर कुनै पनि घोक्नु नपर्ने तरिका भनेको छु है मैले। And last one, एउटा त घोक्नै पर्यो, labor, or you should consider the meaning, or you should learn the meaning, what is labor equipment ratio. How much is the total assets of the company, how much is the total assets of the company per employee with respect to the number of employees. Employees को comparison मा assets कति छ भनेर comparison गरेको भनेपछि that is labor equipment ratio. Labor equipment ratio is calculated as net asset divided by number of employees. From that you calculate rupees, suppose 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 per employee आउने भयो, per employee आउने भयो। भन्नुको मिनिङ के रहेछ, how much is the total assets did company have in the past per employee in the past, and how much of the total assets per employee in at present. So is there any change, increase or not? If increase, it is better. When decreases, it is not better. Company was unable to increase the amount of assets with respect to employees. For such analysis, labor equipment ratio is used. So labor equipment ratio यो एउटा चाहिँ तपाईले घोक्नु पर्ने भयो। Equipment, how much of total assets equipped भनेको हो के यो, how much of total assets equipped in the business with respect to the employees number, that is labor equipment ratio. घोक्नु पर्यो नि तपाईले, यो एउटा घोक्नु पर्यो, नत्र भने अरु फर्मुला बनाउन मैले सिकाएँ। ल अब हामी जान्छौं 3.5, प्रब्लम 3.5 मा। प्रब्लम 3.5 है त। Labor equipment ratio. Now 3.5. All of you look at here, and I have also taken the photo and included in the slide. And RARA public enterprises, and you are asked only the analysis part here. You don't need the value added because you already calculated value added. You learned the value added, how to calculate under additive and subtractive method. So here you are given value added statement and other information, and you need to calculate the ratio and evaluate the company's performance. So at first, evaluate the performance of the enterprises based on the following ratios. The first one required A. पहिलो लेख्नुस् त A number. First one, net value added per employee. What is the formula for the calculation of net value added per employee? What is the formula? Net value added Yes. Number of employees, net value added is the first factor, divided by number of employees, second factor. And we need to analyze the performance of the company for 2010 with respect to in comparison to 2009. So for the comparison of company's performance, intra company performance, we need to have 2 years data, at least 2 years data. Therefore we are given here 2 years data. Therefore we should calculate the net value added per employee for 2009 and 2010. Then we can evaluate the performance. Is there better performance or not? That can be evaluated. So you calculate net value added per employee for 2009 and 10. ए छैन, अस्ति हाम्रो अर्को सरले दिएर पठायो नि त नयाँ सरलाई, एउटै छैन नि, छैन नि बोके पर्खिनुहोस् हेरौँ उसकोमा कुनै सरकोमा छ नि, लाइब्रेरी खुल्या रहेछ। Net value added per employee of 2009, net value added divided by number of employees, and you calculate for 2009 and 2010 separately. 10 lakh rupees is the question. Net value added of 2009 10 lakh rupees and 2010 is 17 lakh, divided by number of employees 8 in 2009, 10 in 2010. Right? You substitute and calculate, then analysis will be made at the end. है पछि सँगै गरौँ ल। 1,25,000 per employee and 1,70,000 per employee. So value added is increase here in comparison to 2009. Therefore, company has better performance. Net value added increase for in terms of per employees. Even the number of employees increase, but net value added also increase. Therefore, it is better. Second one is net value added per working days. How do we calculate net value added per working day? Numerator is net value added and denominator total number of working days. That is 250 and 250. No working days same. There is no different working days same. Net value added per day. Total net value added divided by total number of working days in a year. So you divide 250 by 250, and again net value added increase. Even the number of working days remains same. So company has better performance. 11 त राम्रो देखाइरहेको छ. Another is wage distribution ratio. What is the formula of total wage distribution ratio? Total wages are total distribution to employees divided by net value added, that we already practiced in 3.4. For 2009, 2010. Total wages in 2009 is 1,80,000, 2010 is 2,80,000. And here is also decrease, and decreasing the wages contribution, it is better. Out of total value added, the amount payment to the employees in terms of wage and salary decrease. So it is better to the company. Company was able to reduce the percentage of payment to the workers. And fourth one, labor equipment ratio, net asset divided by number of employees. And next is net value added to net worth. Net worth amount is given in the question. Net worth amount is given in the question. So it is also better. 156 percentage to 234 percentage increase here. The net worth amount is to some extent same, 6 lakh 40 and 7 lakh 25, slightly changed, but huge percentage of net value added increase. So it is better company has better performance. Another is net value added to total revenue. Total revenue means sales revenue. In this question, you are given sales revenue. Mathi ne dekhna सक्नुहुन्छ total revenue or sales revenue. So divide by total revenue. Finished? Up to 6 number. Then other ratio 7. Net value added to fixed asset, net value added to total capital employed, net value added times share salary, and this we are given here. Salary and wage is the payment to employees. Capital employed is also given, net worth given, fixed asset given, everything given. From 7 number, net value added to fixed assets, net value first factor in numerator, fixed asset in denominator. 8 number, net value added to capital employed, net value in numerator, capital employed in denominator, and net value added times salary and wages. You calculate this, then we it is not given in the question, so I have developed case, 2 cases here, so we discuss.
Son.
Did you finish? Now evaluate the overall performance of the company. Evaluate the overall performance. कस्तो लाग्यो तपाईलाई? Performance of the company कस्तो लाग्यो? Overall performance of the company is better here and satisfactory because every year every year or in every aspect the value added is better in different components or with respect to different component. So company's performance is better. That is the overall performance. है सबैकोमा हेर्ने हो भने इन्डिभिजुअली तपाईँ हेर्न सक्नुहुन्छ नेट भ्यालु एडेड टु क्यापिटल इम्प्लोइड आउट अफ टोटल क्यापिटल इम्प्लोइड भ्यालु एडेड इज इन्क्रिज हियर 133 to 206%. So company has better performance. Similarly, net value added to fixed asset, with respect to fixed asset, company has in better value added position, value added amount, that is 156% to 200% is increased to 200%. So 44% is increased. The company has better performance and so on. सबैमा यसरी तपाईले एक्सप्लेन गरिदिने हो. यो भयो individual. Based on individual analysis, you can evaluate the performance of the company. Better छ, सबैमा राम्रो छ भनेर एक्सप्लेन गर्ने भयो. Now second case, as being the investor, how do you evaluate and analyze the performance of company for additional amount of capital investment in 2011? Suppose you are going to invest some amount of additional amount of capital in that company, in your company. In such condition, how do you evaluate and analyze? What recommendation do you give? What's your views on the key one? On the with respect to investment, the capital employed, with respect to capital employed, it has better net value added. With respect to fixed assets, ownerले हेर्ने त्यही त हो नि. With respect to fixed asset, value add is increased by 40%, about 40%, 44%. Net value added per employee is increasing. Number of employees is slightly increased, but value added is increased by huge amount per employee. Per employee मा यति बढेको छ. Similarly, wage distribution ratio shows the better position of the company because company is able to reduce the percentage of wage payment to the workers out of total value added. So decreasing the amount, proportionately decreasing the amount of expenses payment to the employees in terms of wage is decrease here. So it is better to the company, but negatively it may have adverse effect to the company because employees may be demotivated from this wage distribution ratio. Labor union and labor expert, they calculate the wage distribution ratio and they can analyze and they communicate to the employees, and the employees can be demotivated from this type of wage distribution ratio. But for or with respect to company, directly it is better. With in terms of shareholders perspective, it is better. Like this, you should explain. This is case analysis. यो चाहिँ केस बुकमा नभएको मैले दुईटा केस राखेको छु, यो पनि ध्यान दिनु होला. ल, now you have to submit 3.6 and 7. यो 3, 6 र 7 मात्रै सबमिट गर्नुभयो हुन्छ. And other you do practice 8, 9, 3.1, 3.2 हैन, 3.1, 3.2, 3.8, 9 you do practice. But 3.6 and 7 you submit only 3.67. Once again I am informing you, you submit only 3.6 and 3.7. यति दुईटा गर्नुभयो हुन्छ. धेरै पनि तपाईं प्र्याक्टिस गर्नुस्, अरु चाहिँ यति दुईटा गरेर बुझाइ हुन्छ. Clear?
Yes, sir.
No, we are going to utilize the remaining time. So what we are going to study in the next class that I am going to discuss, just I am going to share, and we'll start next chapter. This is chapter 4. Chapter 4, financial statement analysis for performance measurement, or and performance measurement. And before starting, and this is very important chapter, and one numerical questions will be asked. So one long answer question will be asked in the group A. Group A मा आउँछ है यसबाट चाहिँ financial statement analysis बाट long answer question, and one theory question will be also asked. Theory question पनि आउँछ नि, short theory question will be asked, and one long answer question will be asked from this group A बाट आउने यो group A मा आउने. So what is financial statement analysis? So you must know, you are quite familiar, and you studied the corporate financial statements, corporate financial reporting, or corporate reporting you studied in the second chapter. So in corporate reporting you studied different financial statement, and you studied meaning of financial statement, objective and importance of financial statement, and you know the analysis. Now what is financial statement, what is analysis? In the examination you write down like this: what is financial statement analysis, what are the tools, what are the objective, and so on. In such condition, first you explain what is financial statements, then what is analysis, then make them combine what is financial statement analysis. So in a simple sense, financial statement analysis is analysis of financial statement. Financial statement analysis is analysis of financial statements. Analysis of financial statement. So act of analyzing the financial statement is known as financial statement analysis. So financial statement analysis is the technique or is a process of observing, reviewing the financial statement and explaining the performance of the company, which are presented in the performance of the company based on the different figures included or presented in the financial statement. So financial statement analysis helps to judge the company's helps to judge the company's performance. So it is very essential to the decision maker and investor to know the real profitability position of the company, real profitability position of the company, real financial position, real liquidity position, to evaluate the risk and return of the company, to judge the financial health of the company, stability and growth of the company, and future prospect of the company. Therefore, financial statement analysis is important to the internal user to monitor the day-to-day activities of the company, financial matter of the company, and operating efficiency of the company, and to judge the managerial skill and performance efficiency of the company. Therefore, financial statement analysis is used as an important monitoring tool to the internal users of the company. Beside this, financial statement analysis is the act of analyzing the financial statement of the company for decision-making purpose by external stakeholders, except management of the company. There are different other stakeholders, and they use the financial statement analysis as an important tool for decision making, and to evaluate the performance of the company, and to calculate the business value, and to know the real position of the business, profitability, financial position of the business, stability of the business, overall financial health of the company, that can be identified. Therefore, financial statement analysis is a process of identifying the financial strength and weakness of the company by developing the different ratios and comparison between different figures presented in the balance sheet, profit and loss account, or income statement, statement of retained earning, etc. So, need of financial statement analysis. Why? What are the importance, what are the essential necessity of the financial statement analysis? I have just now told you it is better, our financial statement analysis is necessary to make the comparison of the performance between two companies, between two periods of the same company. Between two companies you can judge the performance. Suppose one company, A company, earned profit 5 lakh rupees, and another company B earned 10 lakh rupees profit. So by observing the profit only, it is not possible to compare the real profitability position of the company. Therefore, what is the net profit ratio? Net profit ratio does uh, company A have, and how much is the net profit ratio of company B, that you should calculate, and you can compare the financial profitability position of the company. In this way, uh, figure is not important for decision making and comparison. Therefore, intercompany comparison regarding the profitability, financial position, liquidity, solvency position, that can be possible from the financial statement analysis. And similarly, to assist the operational efficiency, or to assist or to judge the profitability position and managerial efficiency, effectiveness of the company in with respect to profitability, with respect to financial, with respect to liability, with respect to solvency, with respect to growth, that can be calculated. And within the organization, managerial and profitability position can be judged with the help of financial statement analysis. And beside this, to analyze the short term and long term, just now I told you liquidity and solvency or long term leverage can of the company can be judged, can be analyzed. Then after, necessary action correction can be taken in the due time or prior period before happening such um, position are bad solvency and liquidity position of the company. And besides this, to evaluate the financial position of the business with other business, and with one business by comparing with the past financial position, or net worth of company, assets minus liability, how much was the net worth in the past, how much is the net worth in the current year of the company, is there increase or not. Similarly, to provide the some guidelines for the for future forecasting, to determine the growth perspective or growth of the company, or the future stability of the company in the future, that can be judged. Therefore, financial statement analysis provides some insights, some clues to judge the future for forecasting, to judge and identify the growth and future uh, aspect. Besides this, financial statement analysis certainly helps for decision making, and to analyze the operating result or profitability position of the business. And limitation of financial statement analysis. Limitations. So drawbacks of financial statement analysis are: financial statement analysis is based on the financial statement which are prepared for a short period of time, that is 1 year. So financial statement analysis is the study of interim report or short period report, that is for a year. So it does not analyze the financial statement analysis does not show the uh, possibility, and so explain the result performance of the company presented in the financial statement for many years, because it is prepared for 1 year. So it is the study of one interim period or interim report. Ignoring qualitative information, financial statement analysis does not consider the quantity, consider only the quantitative information, does not consider the qualitative aspect, non-financial variable. Even they are very important and essential, useful for the company operation, like managerial decision skill, expertise, controlling mechanism developed by the manager in the company. They have the certain important role in the better performance of the company, but they are not considered not included in financial statement, and not considered by the financial statement analysis. And similarly, ignoring the price level changes, and price level changes or inflation factor are not adjusted in the financial statement. You prepare different financial statement of the company, but you didn't see the adjustment of the price level changes, or you didn't see the inflation factor adjustment. So it ignores the price level changes day by day, year by year. There is inflation in the world, in the country, but that is not included. Certainly that affects the position of the company and stability of the company, but not included. Financial statements are prepared under the different accounting principle, concept, and rules. But uh, due to these factors, the financial statement analyze contracts or has also the limited scope and areas. So it is one of the serious limitation of financial statement following the different accounting rules and principles. Therefore, it cannot be beyond the beyond these accounting principle. These are they all guide to the analysis, so analysis will be very limited. Therefore, financial statement analysis can be different, or analysis due to that depends upon the depends upon the knowledge skill of the analyst. So the financial statement analysis or the result from financial statement analysis can be different from one person to another person. So it sometimes misguide to the users when they use different financial statement analysis of different experts or different analysts. So these are the different limitations, and in next class we will discuss the technique of financial statement analysis. So that's all for today. Therefore, what we are going to study in next class, that's just I am just highlighting this. So financial statement analysis and their techniques that will be studied in the next class. So that's all for today. Okay, see you. Bye bye. You have another class. Okay.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.